And it wasn't about stopping any services. What it was about how much those things were costing. We didn't have that information. Well, as you can see in this budget, we do have that information now.
So here's the kicker. The truth finally leaks out. And wouldn't you know it, the money was sitting there the whole time. Tiffany steps away and suddenly it's, oh wow, look what we just stumbled across. Please, that money didn't just appear. Napoleon padded his own paycheck, rubber-stamped the budget, shuffled numbers like he was running a carnival game. All the exact things Tiffany was getting dragged for. Crazy part? Maybe she wasn't even stealing. Maybe she just wasn't ready to flash every card in her hand. Now Napoleon's sitting there like, wait, so she might not have done anything? Well,
I could be recognized, Supervisor.
Chair recognizes Trustee Gonzalez.
I don't have any questions, but I do want to say a few things. You see increases in areas of the budget, but this is as we make our transition with this new board, because with these budgets, the focus is on you, the focus is on services. I'll just go ahead and say it. In the past, that wasn't the case. The focus, unfortunately, was on a person. We're focusing on you, the residents now, and that's how we are going forward. So yes, some things have increased. A couple examples, special services. It was touched on already, but I want to bring it up again. That's kind of one of the things that are near and dear to my heart. That helps disabled citizens, our disabled residents with various things, whether it be recreational or things in the home. Those were things that just unfortunately fell on the wayside in the, just the past, what we've been through. So once again, the focus is off of promotion and more on services. Seniors, another part of the township that's near and dear to my heart. Once again, it's bringing more services to direct to our seniors. I was an employee here many, many years ago, and those were the areas mainly that I worked in. At that time, it was combined called Senior and Special Services. So needless to say, those are things that are near and dear to my heart.
Welcome to transparency, my friend. Napoleon, take notes. If you want to shine as transparent, start with honesty. Don't roll up acting like you're the poster child of integrity when you're just flipping the same old script with better punctuation. Talking about being translucent doesn't mean anything when you're still moving shady. The only thing translucent right now is your ego. You're not changing the game. You're remixing the same scam. Stop pretending you're writing a new chapter when you're clearly copying from the Tiffany era playbook. Before we keep going, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts down in the comments. Now, about that Thornton Township meeting. People said the board came off defensive, but honestly, that's just standard programming. That crew always sounds like they're dodging questions like it's recess dodgeball. What stood out wasn't them, it was the residents. Folks got up there and said things that had me cracking up, raising eyebrows, and questioning what's really going on. Just another wild night in Thornton. But then one
and those, it hurt me when I saw those things, for the most part, being neglected. But going forward, I can clearly see with this budget that that's not the case anymore. Once again, the focus is on service. I'm glad the gentleman brought up ice cream, and something, I'll just use that as an example. Once again, it wasn't about ice cream. It wasn't about stopping any services. What it was about how much those things were costing. We didn't have that information. Well, as you can see in this budget, we do have.
Speaker stepped up and grabbed my attention, Mr. Christopher Gonzalez. And let me tell you, something about that man's delivery always rubs me wrong. Maybe it's just me, but I've been side-eyeing him for years. Especially since he's the one who randomly slid Tiffany's name into the mix back in the day and cleared her path to become supervisor. That move alone had red flags flying in 4K. And now he's back at the mic? It's giving Snake energy. Full stop, he opens his mouth, starts talking, and then he drops a line that had me slamming paws like, hold up, did he really just say that? Nah, that's not sliding past. We're gonna pick this apart piece by piece, break it down play by play, because whatever he thought he was slickly trying to pull off with that statement, oh, It needs to be unpacked, examined, and put under the brightest spotlight possible. You already know I'm about to go in deep, but trust me, it'll be worth it. Roll the clip. Let's set the record straight. I already knew how Tiffany operated. She hated being questioned. Ask her something simple, and she'd look at you like you just slapped her grandma. Her whole vibe was, why don't you just trust me? Like asking for details was somehow disrespectful. And don't forget her favorite hiring policy, stacking the office with people who had records. She spun it as second chances, but baby, when an entire staff is ex-cons, that's not grace, that's strategy. Surround yourself with folks who can't push back without risking parole, and you built the perfect little echo chamber. And then came the budgets. Except they weren't budgets, they were black holes. Tiffany wanted us to rubber stamp papers we never even laid eyes on. For all we knew, the budget was just Tiffany cutting checks to Tiffany. Nobody could say for sure, because she told us absolutely nothing. Ever. So now the story being pushed is, all the chaos happened because she kept everyone in the dark. Nobody knew the numbers. Nobody knew the money situation. But the second she's gone, boom. Suddenly Napoleon's getting a raise. Suddenly the numbers are right there in the open to oh, what's the narrative here? Are y'all saying Tiffany wasn't actually stealing? That maybe she wasn't corrupt? Just secretive and controlling? Because if the money was always sitting there, and it's only now being revealed, then what are we really saying? I remember Tiffany swearing up and down, we have money, but if anyone asked to see proof, she'd snap, I don't like your tone. Maybe this wasn't fraud, it was pride. Maybe the receipts existed. She just thought you didn't deserve to see them. That's not theft. That's defensiveness. And that's a different story that SO explained this to me, because now the budget's visible and things are finally moving. We see the spending. We see the numbers. And this is exactly what I wanted all along. More with less. I never wanted services gutted. I wanted them expanded smarter. And now, that's actually happening, which is why budgets matter so much. That's why finalizing them is crucial. Take the General Assistance budget. Remember Tiffany's Golden Child project, the tax refunds? Yeah, it's back, but this time with real numbers. And Tiffany? Girl, this is your cue. Step back into the spotlight, because Gonzalez basically just stood up and said, you weren't a thief. You were just impossible to work with. And honestly, that lines up. Your biggest flaw was pride. You treated every single question like a personal insult. All ego, no service. And here's the truth. When you act like you're hiding something, people assume you are. Keep the budget locked away long enough, and folks will think you're laundering cartel money, even if you weren't. You created the smoke. So don't be shocked when people believe there was fire. But hey, doesn't mean you can't pop out now and spin it. Drop your fake book, push the fairy tale. We both know that book isn't real. No chapters, no table of contents, not even an ISBN. Just a folded up flyer fresh off Vistaprint. Still, if you want to claim, see, I wasn't stealing, they just hated me. Then run with it. Play the martyr card. Say they stripped down the township just to punish you. Go on tour if you want. I'll co-sign that, at least when it comes to this Gonzalez mess. Pinky promise. Now back to Gonzalez. Can somebody cut his mic? This man is digging a grave in real time. The crowd is side-eyeing him with that please stop look, and he just keeps talking. He thinks he's dropping wisdom. Bro, you sound like a bootleg TED Talk. Back in the day, people would float ideas like, let's do the tax refund project. And I'd be like, okay, but where's the math? Who benefits? What's the plan? Back then, no answers. But now we got receipts. And that's how you move forward. Not just with board members, but with the residents. Because they've been in the dark. Just as long as we were. Picture Napoleon sitting there wide-eyed, thinking, wait, so Tiffany wasn't stealing? She just didn't pass out the notes. Now he's sweating bullets, realizing, if she got roasted that hard just for being secretive, what's gonna happen to me when I slip up? Lesson time, Napoleon. Transparency. Be so clear we can see your childhood trauma. Be a window pane, not a cinder block. The supervisor dropped some gems on that point, but it all comes back to one thing. Communication, Not just board to board, but board to residents. Real questions, real answers. Finally, after 63 days, that process is starting. Think of it like dating. You learn habits, you adjust, you grow. Unless you're out here thirsting over Napoleon, who, reminder, is married. This ain't Christian mingle. Calm down. But this is growth. Residents are included. People are finally in the loop. And then comes a comedy. Don't worry, I'm actually going to do my job now. Sir, did you just admit that up until today? You've been collecting checks while doing nothing but monologues? And now you want applause because you open your laptop? What you think you're saying, Chris, is not what the crowd is hearing. Please stop. Still, credit where it's due. Shout out to the supervisor, the board, and especially the residents. Y'all keep pressing with the uncomfortable questions. And you deserve honest answers, not dodgeball excuses. No more trust me, bro budgets. No more smoke and mirrors. Finally, people are in the room where it happens. Bottom line, two-way communication. That's the whole game. That's the tweet. And that sad, lonely clap at the end? Yeah, that was either his kid or someone who needed a ride home. Real applause? Absolutely not. That was pure pity, like, let me clap once before he cries. Chris, next time you feel the urge to grab the mic, resist. The last time you had a bright idea, Tiffany became supervisor, and we've been in a circus ever since. This isn't redemption. It's opportunism dressed up as wisdom. And seeing Marvon up there, it felt wrong. Like she clicked into the wrong Zoom call. Either she's out of her depth, or she's sitting there for reasons none of us want to examine. Whatever it is, it doesn't sit right. But back to Chris. All he really did was confirm what most already suspected. Tiffany wasn't stealing. She was just hiding the budget like it was a family recipe. Once she left, y'all finally opened the books. And guess what? The numbers were fine. No missing zeros. No magic tricks. Just Tiffany being Tiffany. Stubborn, paranoid, and allergic to accountability. So let's clear the record. If you know now she wasn't a thief, then say it. Loud. Because the streets weren't calling her bossy. They were calling her a crook. If that's false, correct it. Don't let that lie live. And yeah, I've caught her lying before. She spins stories better than a carnival barker. But lying ain't stealing. Y'all blurred the line. You ran with a thief label. But now that evidence proves otherwise, suddenly it's crickets? Nah. If Tiffany ever wanted to step back out and set the record straight, this would be the moment. And honestly, she could. She took more hits than most and kept it moving. Built Ford tough. Unlike a certain someone out here parading with a walker, crying wolf every 5 minutes. Ma'am, don't. You spent years throwing shade, but the second people questioned your mystery illness, you ran crying harassment and dialing 911. Please, sit down. We won't name names. You like your anonymity, but Jedi knows. We all know the math ain't matting in your head. Anyway, y'all behave or don't. I'm not. Just know absolutely not. But yes, Mama still loves you. She always does.